From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, you are in the mix with a vibrant mix. I'm your girl Tasha, and no, this is not Fred Tamiko because it's one person first of all. And if you are a fan of the show, you already know who this is. This is our friend Bala. Welcome.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
We always bring Bala on when it's time to discuss the black relationship. He was on a little while ago with his group Netflix and Chill, which you can follow on Facebook as you should, A Vibrant Mix, at A Vibrant Mix. In fact, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I today... So let's go behind the impetus for this show.
Yes.
So today this is an example, but I talk a lot about relationship, and I post a lot about, loving the black man. That's obviously very important to me.
Me being a black man, I appreciate that.
Indeed. Indeed, you are more than welcome. But I also then hear or read the negative connotations. And I'm not saying that the black woman and the black man don't love one another. But I'm saying I don't see it a lot. And I don't know if it's just that, people that I've engaged with are in a negative space and that's the only thing that's coming through. But when I hear kind of blanket statements about black men, about black women, Fred had a Facebook friend. Fred shared a lovely picture of a black couple, and it was really nice. Everybody was really pleasant, and this one guy, can't remember his name, and I wouldn't say it if I did, said, yeah, well, I've had less drama since I had these ungrateful, I'm trying to find a nice word for blank bucket, and you can just infer what he was what he was saying.
Rhymes with bum?
That.
Okay.
And so I was floored, first of all. I think I sent you the screenshot. Because it was a while ago, and I was just like, who peed in your soup? Like, that's... Why are you so
harsh.
angry?
Yeah.
Right. And so I wonder what kind of... But clearly that was rejection, right? Yeah. Or you hear about people going off when they're rejected.
Yeah.
I know personally of a woman who very politely told a guy who was interested in her, you know what, I'm married, I can't talk to you, but I appreciate it. And he never seen her before, balled up his fist, knocked her in her face, broke her orbital socket. That kind of stuff.
Wow.
Right. So
oh my God.
I know rejection is prevalent. I know, but how do we get past, and that's why I brought you on, because I wanted the male perspective, and Fred didn't want to be on the show today. No, I'm kidding. Fred is busy. But how do we get past the combativeness in this world right now, particularly under this current administration? We need each other more than ever.
One would think.
Right. So how do we get past that?
Well, I would say personally, for one, you must eliminate the generalizations that you make towards any gender, race, person, period. Generalizations kill relationships. They do. Whether it be an intimate relationship between a man and a woman, a friendship, partnership, even work-wise. These generalizations of how you see a person based off of their race or their gender, it just totally disseminates any possible opportunity for you guys to come together. Because you've already put them in a place that they might not even fit.
Right.
And if you are, me being a black man, for me to say about the black woman being in a negative way, and I'm not trying to say that all black women always act on the positive, but I'm saying if you're going to generalize black women as being negative, if you're black, this is something that you're basically saying about your mother,
right?
About your grandmother, about your sister, about your daughter, or what have you, or women that are close to you. And I doubt very seriously if a person, when they are outside of their feelings, will have the same interpretation and reaction to their, what they're saying at that moment once they've calmed down, cooled down, and really look at this general blanket statement that they've made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know someone who said that, black women have never, he only dates white women, and, to each his own. I don't have a problem with interracial dating.
No.
I have a problem with interracial dating when your belief system is that the other race is better than your race. See, I don't care who you fall in love with, but when you begin to disparage me, my mama, my cousin. So even if it's the flip, if it's a white man who says I don't fool with white women, that's a problem too. How you, again, the same premise applies. That's your mom,
right?
That's your sister. So if you fall in love with who you fall in love with, wonderful, great. Invite me to the wedding. I'm dancing. Yay.
Yeah.
If you consciously choose, oh, the black woman's never showed me love. Oh, the black women are loud and ghetto. Huh? I can show you the quietest. Like you said, we don't all fit into a category.
No, we don't. We don't. You can look at it even just beyond romance and relationships. Look at music.
Okay.
Right? Music is one of those things that speaks directly to a person. It does not necessarily have to be labeled as something. We put labels on it, and then we put people in these categories that listen to this particular kind of music. Now, I'm not trying to take up and say that all music out here is good. It, as all art is respective to that person.
Sure.
But music, to me, music like math is universal. Numbers don't lie. These are going to be the same numbers regardless of how you put them and what have you, using the right mathematical equations and parentheses and all that there, algebra. Shout out to Barbara Williams for being my teacher and my mom.
Yay, Mom.
Yay,
Happy
Mom.
Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day. But also with music, it is a beat, it is a tempo, it is a feeling. It is synthesizers or live instruments or a voice, whether it be singing, rapping, or what have you. It is, relative to that person and what they take in from that. It's the same thing with love. I firmly believe love is love. I do. Love yourself first.
Certainly.
Love others. And expect love for self.
I think what you said at the top is very important. Love yourself first. Because you can't pour from an empty vessel, right?
No.
So if you don't have anything to give, then you're just injuring the person that you're dealing with,
And we know how bad hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard that saying and can find it very real if you look at a lot of things that's going on in the world. You can see that out there. We were talking before where with this the young lady at the school, right? Think of how many instances that people have made rash decisions based off of false information or generalizations or perception. Right?
And we're talking about the young lady at the Ivy League school who happened to be a woman of color, a graduate student who fell asleep in the common area of her school, and apparently she was sleeping very suspiciously and had the police called on her.
How do you sleep suspiciously?
Well, you can't sleep as a person of color in a common area. What's wrong with you? You didn't get your rule book?
I did not see that part in the rule book.
The rule book says no napping while colored, apparently.
No napping while nappy.
Right.
Is what the rule book actually says.
That
no
right there.
While napping, basically.
So that woman has some projected image
placed on her.
Right. And again, she's just trying to take a nap.
She's just asleep. Even with the individuals at Starbucks.
Okay.
Right? Generalization for whatever reason where they did nothing wrong. And how many times have you yourself been at Starbucks or at a Panera Bread or some other, establishment of that nature where you're there to meet somebody or you're waiting on somebody and thought nothing of it?
Certainly. You certainly didn't expect to be, oh, you can't use the bathroom. Oh, you need to buy something. Oh, we're gonna call the police. Dear my wonderful white friends,
dear white people,
because I no malicious bone in my body, but calling the police on people of color, black people particularly, with no warranted reason, with a suspicion. And don't get me wrong, if you see somebody breaking in my car, call everybody. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand, my wonderful friends, that this can literally turn into a life and death situation. And just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it's not real.
And it's because of their lack of experience of the black experience.
Right. They wouldn't know that.
They don't know. They don't understand. I remember growing up here on the south side of Chicago, hanging out with my guys, singing, rapping, dancing. And I remember us being on the west side, and it was my birthday. I went outside. They, of course, now they trying to chase around and catch birthday licks and everything. It's me again and three of them. So we running around laughing and all that. Next thing you know, police pulls up. I don't think anybody called them per se. Maybe somebody's running around or whatever and just saw black men running around in the street. Police pulls up, and I'm not talking just 1-2 cars, but the police wagon, two patrol cars, and I think like another SUV as well. They caught up with us, had us on the hood of the vehicle, searching us and have you. But thank God that my friend whose house we were over, his mom was outside, neighbors were outside, and they were saying they aren't doing anything.
Right.
It's his birthday, and they were chasing him trying to get birthday licks. So we kind of played it off, laughing about it and what have you at the time. Like, man, you can't, I guess you can't celebrate no birthday, ha, ha, ha.
But you do that as a coping mechanism.
Oh, yeah, because best believe, had they not been there,
that could have gone differently.
It could have, so many times, kids, young men have gotten pulled up by the police, taken off somewhere, and then sent on about their way.
If they get to go
If they get to go about their way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you don't hear back from.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder why. But because of social media, now we have outlets that allows you to see things from a perspective. And even then, what's killer to me is people will still take on the mentality. People not of color will take on the mentality of, well, if they didn't do this, then that probably wouldn't have happened. If they wouldn't have been resisting arrest, then that probably wouldn't have happened. If they hadn't been mouthing off, then that probably wouldn't have happened.
I heard a story today. I was listening to HLN, and apparently there was a neighbor called the police on some Airbnb customers, and there was some confusion about the story. And honestly, I had to turn it off because I'm just sick of it. Mm-hmm. I went back to my gospel music because I needed to pray in that moment, like help Jesus. Mm-hmm. But it was amazing to me that the homeowner said, well, her initial point was that the story that her tenants had given her was incorrect. Okay, I wasn't there. I can't speak to that.
Right.
But here's the part that got me and made me change the station. She said, my neighbor tried to engage them by smiling and waving, and they didn't smile, and they didn't wave. They were frankly rude, and if they had just been nice, this never would have happened. And I couldn't believe, driving down 63rd Street, that was today, listening here in 2018, that was her response. But because she simply can't fathom, you can be uber nice. You can be minding your business. And guess what? If as a human being, I get to be rude. I don't have to speak to your neighbor.
Right.
If I don't want to.
I don't want to.
But that is the difference between how I'm perceived and how you're perceived. You can, lovely woman not of color, be rude as ever to a police officer and go home and tell your husband about it and perhaps get the opportunity to call your husband. But don't be Sandra Bland.
No.
Because Sandra should have been in her place, or those people should have spoken to that woman because she spoke. No, what if they were in a bad mood? What if they weren't thinking? What if anything was going on in their mind? What if they had just gotten a call that, someone was ill? Or here we go, what if they just didn't want to speak to her?
Here's a thought. What if they just did not want to speak?
The end.
Right.
Yeah. And so I know we've kind of shifted a little bit, but I think it does speak to the programming. And I think that's my concern. I think that as people of color, if we constantly hear messages from other places, the news, our men ain't this, our men are this, our women are this, our women are this. That's why I hate a lot of reality shows. No offense to the people making their money, but if I don't know you, I've never interacted with you in your community, and the prevalent representation, it's not the only representation, but the prevalent representation of you is you acting a fool, throwing stuff, being loud, calling each other out of your name. I'm gonna think that's how y'all act, because I don't have any other
source.
Reference.
I have no other reference. I have no other source but what is displayed to me through media, whether it be social media, visual media, whatever media outlet. This is my point of reference.
Yeah, exactly. And so how do we, again, I guess, I know it's more complicated than we can delve into in this half hour to an hour. But how do we get better programming out? One of the reasons Tamiko and I started A Vibrant Mix is because there's so much negative representation in media. Yeah. Obviously we don't have the money yet to yet. It is coming, yes, Lord. To take this on a much larger scale. But there are all kinds of positive messages out there. The brothers from our school, they're trying to make sure that they get the positive image of the black man out, because there's so many negatives. And so I guess my message to black women is, these men are fighting every day, quite literally, for your lives, right?
Yes.
You're out, your work, you're dealing with this, you're dealing with people who are less competent than you, trying to make you feel incompetent due to their own insecurities. Hurt people, right?
Right.
You're dealing with quite possibly law enforcement who may or may not believe that this is your vehicle. I've been there. You're dealing with all kinds of things. So when he gets home, ladies, man, can we be his peace? Can we do that? Yeah. Can we not listen to our bitter girlfriends? And of course, does not apply to everybody, because again, I don't believe in generalities, right?
That's right.
But can we not listen to our bitter girlfriends? Can we not listen to our bitter auntie, our bitter mama who ain't had a man since your daddy left and you 50? Oh, okay, you might want to let that go. He been remarried 4 more times. You still mad? I need you to get some counseling.
Yes, I need you to work that thing out.
Right.
But just as you say about with the black woman and can you be that man's peace? I would say for the black man, can you be that woman's strength? Can you be that woman's protection? And not just on a physical sense, but can you protect her heart? Can you protect her mind? Black women are under attack.
Certainly.
Just as black men are under attack, black women are under attack. Womanhood is under attack. Motherhood is under attack. And we have so many women that are fighting, I don't want to say necessarily each other for a man, but because we know the disparity between the numbers of eligible men to eligible women are vastly misappropriated, disproportionate. It's greatly easier for me as a single black man to be able to speak with and deal with women whom are not normally able to maybe connect with other guys, because a lot of guys are incarcerated. A lot of guys are not on the same level maturity-wise or emotionally, whatever their preferences are. They're not fitting the bill per se.
And sometimes because it's so easy, then sometimes guys feel like, and of course I'm not talking in general, but some guys feel like I ain't gotta work that hard. This other chick over here, she gonna give it to me. And you like, here I am trying to have some damn standards. Well, just this is not working. Jesus, waffle come.
One of the somebody turned me on to, and I've seen it before. The 5 love languages.
Certainly.
Right. And like
mine is affection, dear future husband, and acts of service.
Mine is acts of service. Mine is acts of service. That, and I can actually see that because I can appreciate somebody where I'm constantly on the go, constantly doing something, and you see that I need something, and you do it without me asking.
You've handled it.
You've taken care of that.
You get home and everything is together. You've handled the meeting. You've packed for our vacation, and you're like, what? I gotta do that.
I ain't got to do that. So that's, and you know, and that's good. But it's good to know what it is that you are interested in. What do you like? I mean, right now with social media, dating sites and such, right? They make it very easy to meet people. I call it meeting sites.
Okay. Yeah, not dating sites.
That's dating sites.
Key. I love it.
Yeah. This is a meeting. This is an opportunity for me to meet you virtually and learn a little bit more about you. Hopefully, you, not
your representative.
Not your representative. Not the catfish picture you picked up.
Right.
You know, that
picture you took 700 pounds ago.
Oh my God.
Who said that? What's that mean? I didn't say that out loud. Did I say that out loud?
Just a little bit. But it's true.
On the mic, on the recording.
But it is true. But I mean, that's what these meeting sites give you an opportunity to do, is meet somebody, and hopefully you can develop a connection, speak with them, vibe with them, chill with them, grow with them in that order. You know, hopefully. If not, then you've wasted a little bit of time and move on to the next one.
Certainly.
You know, that's what you have the opportunity to do. But even with these meeting sites, you find people not being truthful. They're lying about their age. The women are making themselves younger or older. You know, they're 25, but they want to say they're 35. And
right.
I'm assuming that these young guys...
You get there and she's in pigtails.
Right. But still got her school uniform on.
Like, if you don't get yourself out of here. Go to bed.
Trying to R. Kelly me.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
I'm cool.
I apologize.
2 plus 2 is not 5, yeah. So I'm cool with that.
All right. So, but I mean, there lies another issue here where we sometimes will put people in places where we put them on this podium because of
their artistic ability.
But their integrity and their character, that's not held under the same perspective, you know? And then you have women that are literally chasing after this man or after individuals like that. And you wonder why people don't really either give you the respect, or people don't really give you the true, you know, love that you I would think that you would want to have and want to deserve, because your energy is chasing after something that's not good for you. You're chasing after something that's not meant to do you well. It's meant to do you harm, and it's a messed up perspective. You know, I mean, I take nothing musically away from R. Kelly. I take nothing musically away from Kanye West. I take nothing musically away from a number of people that have done some things that in one's, you know, perspective is questionable. But
got that side eye going. Like,
yeah, that genius stuff is only gonna take you so far, partner. Real talk.
Right, not with my kid.
No, it's gonna be hands-on lessons. Let it be one of mine. That's all.
Auntie Tasha's coming to help. Anyway, just so we're clear, yeah. I think that's a good segue to shift, because sometimes people are chasing for fame, right?
Yes.
Sometimes people are chasing because it's familiar. Abuse is familiar. So when that wonderful guy that we write about in our diaries as young women, right? If women still keep diaries, mine's on my phone. When he comes along, sometimes we can't recognize him, or if we do, we don't feel we deserve it. And so we, consciously or subconsciously, most times I would believe, unconsciously, we sabotage. So here's this wonderful guy who's doing all these wonderful things, and he's taking care of you emotionally. If money is your thing, he doing that. Whatever your list is, he's meeting said list.
Yes.
And then you're like, he too nice.
He too nice.
What's that? You see, I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't. But so many people still like the bad boy, bad girl persona. They still like that, even from grammar school, high school, college, even maybe a low mid-20s. Even you're still chasing that persona. Mm-hmm. You've not grown. You've not matured yet.
I can't deal.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I can't deal with the bad boys because you might cause me to lose my home. So don't even apply.
Right. I mean, and here, people get caught up in that persona, and they get caught up. And I'm not taking away from anybody as far as, again, when I say bad boy, I'm not just talking the image.
Sure.
Right? Because I don't think that you wearing tattoos makes you a bad boy.
No, I like those.
I don't think that you tattoos and piercings and such makes you a bad boy. I personally like tattoos. I only have a few, but I'm going to get some more. I think it's
hurt too bad. I had the one and I can't.
I'm doing.
Ouch.
They're none on the face and stuff like that, but which I never really could understand that. But in all fairness, you can have somebody that fits again, here's the generalization, they look a particular way, but could be a whole different way if you take the time to get to know that individual, right? And that could be the same with the person that looks all fabulous on the outside, right?
Crazy as a road lizard.
And rotten to the core.
Yeah.
Rotten to the core, literally. Rotten.
Yeah.
But men and women need better self-evaluation.
Okay.
To be able to make better choices and hold themselves accountable to the choices that you make.
So accountability, what's the difference between then being accountable? So we have accountability partners in all kinds of situations.
Yes,
we have prayer partners, we have workout partners, we have diet partners. What's the line then between, okay, I'm calling you, Bala, I'm sharing this experience with you so you can hold me accountable and say, hey, sis, that's stupid.
Right.
Versus me talking to someone who I think I can trust. Like, where's the line where you share information and you find out, that now it's on Facebook. Now you're a meme. It's not what we want.
Now you
not how this works. Right. It's not what we want.
I think that it comes from time-tested relationships with talking with and being around and seeing how this person is. We can give some of the best advice to people because it sounds great and it's like it's coming out and this is how it should be.
We just have a hard time applying it to ourselves.
When we do it, it's not the same when it comes to our turn. But it sounded good. I mean, we know that this is how it's supposed to be, but we don't internalize that for ourselves. It's the do as I say, not as I do.
Certainly.
Thing. But, good advice, true advice is true advice. It's sometimes it shouldn't matter where the advice is coming from as long as it's good and sound. Because if I had somebody, again, this person was just like the worst person in the world to me, but he gave me the best advice.
Where you at? I'm sorry, I got mad.
Him gone. Him gone.
Take my earrings off.
But he did. He gave me the best advice, and I couldn't be mad at the advice because it was true.
Sure.
What
was the advice?
The advice was my perspective of how I look at things. A lot of times, we are too close on a situation. We are too close up on a situation to fully evaluate it for what it is. So you have to pull yourself back, or you have to, push that back or pull yourself away in order to get a full view and a better perspective of what that situation is.
The bird's eye view. And that's literal. My girlfriend shared that with her brother. She took a piece of paper and she put it this close to his face.
Yes.
And she said, you can't see that. That's where you are. Let me back up a little bit. That's what you should do.
Or you back up. And what he did with me, he did it with a quarter. Okay. That's how he did it. He had it like right here. I'm like, hey, way I can see that. Well, why don't you take a step back? So I took a step back. A little bit. Well, take another step back. And until I could see it better, I can get a fuller perspective, 360 degree, I took a step back and a step back. And we had to do that in a number of areas in our lives where we had to take a step back from the situation, take your emotions out of it.
Sure.
And I say this to men too, because so many times we use the excuse of the woman being the weaker creature, the more emotional creature, the more emotional vessel. A lot of men out here are emotional too. And
we're human. We have emotional experiences. You just can't live there.
No, but a lot of times the men are emotional because they weren't taught how to handle their emotions at a younger age.
Yeah.
They were not given the proper tools to manage their emotions at a younger age, because you're told as a young man a lot of times, knuck up, toughen up, man up.
Right. So he ain't supposed to cry. His leg falling off. What you mean?
He is literally bleeding right now.
Right. Please
and
cry.
Feeling pain.
Right. It hurts.
But I just think that if we, men and women, black men and black women, are willing to love ourselves past our pains, hurts, and such from before, love ourselves, we are more in a better position to love somebody else properly the way they deserve to be and should be loved, because we've accepted ourselves, love on ourselves, and are willing to make the right choices for ourselves and our needs.
Yeah, you can't operate in a healthy way until you're healthy.
Right.
Whether that's physically, you can't run the marathon you were training for if you fell and twisted your ankle. You have to heal first.
Gotta heal.
And the same is true for our emotional well-being. And I think sometimes people don't believe that they are emotionally injured.
Emotionally damaged.
Yeah. And they're like, I'm fine. I'm over her. You're not, because you just called the woman a blank bucket.
Rhymes with bum.
Yeah, that's horrible.
It is. It is. And again, to say it about the woman or man that looks like you, that birthed you.
Yeah.
Even. It's terrible, and it's a terrible sight or terrible plight on our community. And it does not do anything more for us but keep us separated and keep us at odds, which the other lovers, they love it. They love to see us at odds. They love to see us separated, because we've been separated for so long that, being and coming together would not be conducive to the master plan that was put into place so many centuries ago.
Yeah. I think people have a casual attitude to, we'll be all right. I'll take care of this, later. I'm out here having fun. But you're damaging so many people on the way. And then if you bring children into it, now you're damaging them, because now y'all fighting all the time when you weren't really serious. It's one thing when people, have some genuine love, y'all have kids, it doesn't work out, okay. But when you just out here acting a whole fool, and I'm talking men and women. Entire fool.
First I thought it was a different.
No, not that. Okay. Not the garden tool.
Okay.
Whole as in entirety, 100%. Or, you you can't get a hold of your emotions. So you clowning the parent in person, on social media, to your child. Now, what kind of damage then are you inflicting on the baby? Let me tell you something, some of you crazy emotional women. If you have a co-parent who wants to co-parent and you will not allow him to co-parent, you stink a lot.
Yeah.
Because you are damaging that baby. You inflicting further damage on yourself. And why don't people believe in karma?
what I never really understood, and I've seen this in person for myself, where there was a young man who was very willing to be a part of his children's lives, even though he did not have that relationship, that good relationship with the children's mother. He still wanted to be a part of their lives. She, because he did not want to be with her, made it very difficult for him to be around his kids. Difficult to the point where she would file false claims with the police in order to get a restraining order against him, which means then that he cannot see his kids.
That's horrible.
Because she has this restraining order. So he would have to go to court in order to get the restraining order lifted in order to do things with his kids. So he'd been dealing with this situation for a nice number of years, and it wore on him.
Because he's human.
Because going through and trying to do, so with women, a lot of times, well, some women, because we're not into generalization.
Certainly.
Some women will try to do is hit your pocketbook, thinking that that is going to have a negative effect on you, which it will. But ultimately, what you've now done is said that this dollar amount that has been stated by the courts is significant enough for me to collect on, and whatever you do after that is on you. Even though it's for the children, I cannot blame my friend for not wanting to do more than what he's been court ordered to do because of the constant beratement and the constant negative attitude that this woman has taken with him and has instilled into the kids towards him.
Not to mention he got to pay all these attorney fees for fighting this bull.
Yes.
I have a friend who shared a story much like that, and this person took their daughter away. And they have reconnected, but the daughter, was indoctrinated by the mom. And so the dad, being who he is, did not want to disparage the mom in an effort to redeem his image. But I guess the daughter crossed the line, and he, calmly set her down. He said, "I need to tell you something." And he said, "And when we finish, I'm going to call your mom and tell her that I'm telling you." And he laid out everything that he had tried to do, the way that he was blocked by mom, to the point of she left the state and hid for years. And when the daughter heard it, of course she was floored. When her mother didn't deny it, she went to the subfloor.
Right.
And
she's mortified.
Right. And of course she had an emotional reaction. But here's the piece that I don't think mom recognized, and some ladies don't recognize. And I know this can go both ways. Mm-hmm. When you're a child, the first people you trust, that you have to trust, are your parents. Particularly mom, because typically that's that bonding piece. Not that you don't bond with dad, but with the mom, it's emotional and physical a lot of times. So when you discover 12, 15, 19, 22 years later that the person you've trusted instinctively for all these years has been feeding you 12 lines of BS, not a line, but 12 lines of BS, your whole faith in people is shattered, whether or not you recognize it in that moment. And now you don't trust anybody, including your own judgment.
Right.
All because you couldn't figure out how to end the relationship without making the co-parent a bad guy. Now, if the co-parent is an ass,
right,
male or female.
It does happen.
That is very different. By all means, protect your baby. Mm-hmm. You know, if they are inflicting emotional damage, if they're, I'm coming to get you and your baby sitting on the porch for hours, yeah, cut that off. Right. That's very different. But I think I'm speaking more to the people who are just angry and can't shift.
Again, hurt people. And
you do not want to hurt your baby. Because as parents, right, as people, we're flawed. So as parents, you're going to be flawed. You're going to make some mistakes as parents. That doesn't mean you don't love your kid.
No.
But some deliberate mistakes, go play in traffic.
Yeah, and again, parents at that time don't really understand the long-term effects that this could have with dealing with this, because this person, if lucky enough, is going to be in your life the rest of that child's life. Mm-hmm. Not just the 18 years that's been allotted by the courts that you have to pay child support. Mm-hmm. If this person is actually wanting to be involved in your children's lives.
The child's going to get married and have kids and have family gatherings and graduate and go back to school, and they're going to have kids.
They're going to have kids.
They're going to be, appearances for that. Mm-hmm. You just going to continue to be mad? You don't want the new boyfriend over? You don't want the new girlfriend over? Now they married. What you mad at? Let it go.
Let it go. It's a wrap now. Let it. You know what? You had your moment, but you have something with this person that will last a lifetime.
That's your legacy.
You have this. Focus on that and how you and this person can make this person you created or assisted in creating a better person, not falling into the same traps that you fell into, not doing and making some of the same choices. We as parents, myself being a parent, I can't make my kids do anything. Mm-hmm. But I would hope that I have influence enough that my decisions or my judgments or my thoughts and my actions, they will think about these things and consider these things in their choices and their decisions. But ultimately, the decision is theirs. It's the people. That's the thing with people. When you're dealing with people, you can't force them to take on what you would have. You can't spoon feed people with giving them. No, as much as you would like to, no. You have to hope that what you've said to them will, marinate and permeate into their spirit.
Mm-hmm. Trust the process.
And definitely continue to keep them in prayer, positive energy, but let them make their mistakes. Sometimes you learn that way.
Yeah.
But when you made that choice, be accountable for whatever is that happens after, and know that every action has a reaction. Something is going to happen.
Positive or negative. That's a good spot to end on. I think you've been in the mix with the Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Freya. Don't forget to catch us every Tuesday night on Vibe N Radio, vibe-n.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Vibrant Mix. Thank you, Bala, for coming on the show once again. We appreciate you. We're going to make it a Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, Freya, Bala, Jesus, the microphones. This is going to be a whole big plethora of people. We appreciate you coming on. How can people reach out to you on social media?
Well, you can actually catch me at Balance Williams on Facebook, and I am Balance357 on Instagram. I believe it's Balance 357.
I'm gonna need you to learn your social media handles.
I am, as much as I like social media, I do not know none of my hashtags, but you can definitely catch me at Balance Williams on Facebook.
That's horrible. We'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Bye.